today, Justin Howell and Carla Engel. If you have any other question related to CPT, you are welcome to submit the question in the Q&A section in the bottom. You can also scan the QR code in the right corner to talk to our consultant. I want to introduce a little bit about Go Elite before we started. So about Go Elite. Go Elite is a professional education institute based in Los Angeles, California. We represent an official admission of more than 50 universities. We are dedicated to providing international students with high quality consultation, helping them with their academic problems and evaluating the best CPT school option for them. Go Elite is also an AIRC certificate organization. Our vision and mission. So far, Go Elite has served over 47 states in the US and collaborate with more than 50 universities. We promise to provide high quality consultation for free. Here are some feedbacks from our students. If you are interested, you can Google on the Google map for Go Elite and you can see more review. The second part of the session will be the live Q&A question. If you have any question related to Ottawa University, you can submit a question in English in the Q&A section. I will let Justin and Carla take over from now. Hi, Justin.
Hi, Celine. Thank you. I just want to say hi to everyone who's joining. We're excited to talk to you today about Ottawa University and the programs that are available for international students. These are high demand quality programs that I think you'll be really excited about. So I am here with Carla, my colleague. We're representing Ottawa University today, and we're excited to have you. I'll let Carla introduce herself and say a few words as well.
Great. Hi, Celine. Justin, it's great to be with you as well. We are delighted to be here this evening to have the opportunity to talk to you about the EMBA programs at Ottawa University. And Justin's going to give you all of the details, and then we'll be able to answer any of your questions. And we're excited about the opportunity that's available to you with these programs.
So excited.
Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, Celine,
Okay.
so that we can share some of the details about the programs that are available at Ottawa University to international students. Hopefully everyone can see my screen here.
Yes.
So Ottawa University is a university that's been around for more than 100 years, and they have a long, rich history in the US. They have a great executive MBA program that's available to international students. And that executive MBA program is a 2-year degree program, master's level. And it's a 2-year program, 6 semesters, that is delivered at 3 different campus locations, which is really convenient for international students who are living in different parts of the country and want to pursue a master's degree in the US. Just to give you a little bit of background on the EMBA program, there are different concentrations that you can choose from. So as you can see here, we offer an IT concentration, that's a STEM degree. We also have cybersecurity for managers, which is also STEM, business data analytics, which is STEM. And then we have operational effectiveness and healthcare management. Those degree programs are taught at different campus locations throughout the US, including Surprise, Arizona, near Phoenix, Overland Park, Kansas, and Brookfield, Wisconsin. So these are exciting programs. They're designed specifically for international students like you, professionals who are looking to expand their education as well as their resume, build their resume and get some professional experience while you study. Just so you're aware, the EMBA program at Ottawa University is, it has an integral CPT component, curricular practical training, which means that while you're enrolled in the EMBA program, you can be employed in a field related to your area of study. And that allows you to not only study, but also build your resume and gain some professional experience while you're studying. CPT is a huge benefit to international students because, as you know, normally international students are not permitted to work off campus unless their program requires it, which the EMBA program does. So CPT is a huge benefit to you as an international student, and we can talk more about that when we get to the Q&A section as well. Celine, are there any other things that you would like us to address in terms of the program details?
We can talk about more about the on-site frequency.
Say that again.
I say that maybe we can talk about more about the on-site frequency, like to be Zoom online course or on-site course.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. So the EMBA program, I failed to mention, is delivered in a very convenient hybrid format. And that means that you can live and work anywhere in the country, and you're only required to attend on-campus classes one weekend every 2 months. So during the semester, you'll be on campus 2 times, 2 weekends per semester. There are 6 semesters total. So when you're not on campus for the weekend sessions, you will participate in the class online. So again, it's very convenient for international students who live and work all over the country and travel to campus for those weekend sessions. Carla, would you like to discuss the application process and what that looks like for students?
Yes, I just needed to unmute there. I was ready to just start talking. Yeah, so the application process is very organized and very streamlined. You receive all of your communication and information through us, and the initial information that you receive is some of it is what you're seeing on screen from Justin here. It's very detailed. It lets you know all of the requirements, and in that there is a link to the application. So you'll request the link, and then once you have done that, I will send you the DocuSign application, and you'll complete that and you'll upload your required documents. Now, the nice thing about that is even though you've received your requirements in the email that we send you, you'll also have an outline of the requirements in the application itself. And if you are a student who is in the US and you've received a degree in the US, then all you need to submit is your US transcript, and you want to make sure that that transcript includes your degree conferral and the conferral date. So you'll upload that. We don't need an official transcript for admission purposes. So you'll upload that. Then you will add 3 letters of recommendation. Those are very important. But the nice thing is those can be from colleagues or managers, and they just need to speak to what a fabulous person you are, your talents, your abilities, and the way that your colleagues and or managers see the way that you could contribute to the EMBA program. They just need to be signed. So you'll upload those 3 letters of recommendation, and then you will add your visa, your passport, your latest I-20, and then your latest I-94. And then finally, you'll include your financial statement. And then your financial statement, you want to make sure that that could be your bank account. That needs to total $28,390, but maybe you don't have a bank account that has $28,390, and that's perfectly fine. You can include credit card statements that show your available credit, or maybe you have a family member or friend who is supporting you. You would just include their financial statement and then a letter of support. So it's a pretty streamlined process, very organized. And the nice nice thing is you can upload all of those things into the application packet, and then you'll send it to us and we'll review it and communicate with you within 24 hours to let you know if everything is complete or if we need additional information. That's the basics right there.
Thank you, Carla. And Celine, I think we've covered kind of the basics of the program and the application process.
Yeah,
If
that'd be
you'd
great.
like, we'd be happy to answer any questions that students have.
Could you also introduce a little bit about the scholarship that I know a lot of students are interested in?
So Ottawa University currently does not offer any scholarships for international students in the EMBA program. However, because you are allowed to participate in CPT and be employed while you study, that helps to offset the cost of the program. So one thing that's really kind of a big selling point of the EMBA program is that international students who enroll in the program are able to graduate debt-free. They are able to work while they study and pay the tuition along the way. And they graduate with no student debt, which is a huge benefit for international students.
And if I could jump in just regarding the scholarships, I've worked at a couple of different universities in international programs, and I've always worked with international students. And in those traditional programs where international students were given scholarships, those scholarships never covered, or they rarely cover the full cost of a degree program. And then usually international students are doing an assistantship. And very often those assistantships are not necessarily even in the field of a student study. So many times I would have very talented international students who would be answering my emails or doing copies for me, or doing programs that had absolutely nothing to do with their field of study. And that's one of the reasons why I love the program at Ottawa, because the students through CPT are actually allowed to earn a professional income, and then they're actually gaining work experience in their profession. So they're building their professional resume, and then they're adding to their professional knowledge. So I find that so much more valuable than the majority of the traditional scholarship programs.
I see. Also, I have a question that how often for the student who are using CPT, they have to renew the CPT, like once every semester or once every year?
That's a great question. So I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen so that you can see Carla and I when we speak. So with regard to CPT, because it's an integral part of the program and participation is mandatory, you will have CPT authorization for the duration of the 2-year program. Per USCIS regulations, the university can authorize CPT for 12 months at a time. So the university will provide you with a CPT I-20 for 12 months of authorization. And after 12 months, they will issue a new I-20 with new dates for the remainder of the program. So you don't need to get a new CPT I-20 every semester.
Oh, that's really convenient. I actually got a lot of questions from the student submit from the Q&A section. I'm going to share it right now.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. The first question is the student, is the school load heavy at Ottawa? How many hours do students usually spend on assignment?
That's a good question. So the EMBA program at Ottawa University is a rigorous program. It's a full-time program. It's high quality. We get a lot of great feedback from students who are very pleased with their experience in the program. I wouldn't say that it's overly demanding. Again, all of our students are employed on CPT while they study. So there is a good balance between the school experience and also your CPT employment. So it is manageable, but it is a rigorous program. It's a master's level program. So be prepared for that. In terms of how many hours do students spend, that really just depends on the class. Each professor is a little bit different. They might have kind of different assignments or different requirements that may vary from semester to semester. But as I mentioned, the program is designed specifically for international students who are participating in the program as well as on CPT. So there's a good balance there, and it's manageable for students.
The second question is, how often do students need to renew their CPT? Oh, you just answered. And what's the process involved?
So the process for CPT is once you've been accepted to the program, you'll be provided with a CPT employer form. And your employer will need to fill that form. It's an agreement between your employer and the university. Basically, just an understanding that you are participating in the program and CPT as part of that degree program. So you'll need to submit that CPT form along with a copy of your employment offer letter, as well as your job description. That's important because in order to be in compliance with USCIS regulations, your CPT employment must be related to your area of study. So those documents are used by the university to verify that your employment is related to your area of study, and then they can go ahead and authorize the CPT. Again, that CPT is authorized for 12 months at a time. So there's really, once your CPT is approved, you don't need to renew your CPT until after 1 year. And if your employment hasn't changed, then the university will simply issue you a new I-20 with updated CPT authorization dates. So there's nothing more that you need to do to renew your CPT.
Okay, great. The third question is, I just graduated from my bachelor degree and only have 1.5-year working experience. Can I apply for the EMBA program at Ottawa?
I'll let Carla address that question.
So Ottawa does have a very strict work requirement for the executive Masters of Business Administration. So generally for students who are graduating with a bachelor's degree, they're looking for individuals who have 5 to 7 years of work experience. The majority of the students that we have in this degree program are second master's degree students, and they're coming in with a great number of years of work experience. And as a result of that, that allows them to really be able to connect to the courses and the content that's being covered in the classes, as well as to the types of challenges that they're facing in their careers. So 1.5 years of work experience does not meet the minimum requirement for Ottawa University.
On that note, I would just add, as Carla mentioned, for bachelor's degree holders, she mentioned that you need to have 5 to 7 years of work experience. However, if you already hold a master's degree, you only need 3 to 5 years of work experience to qualify for the program.
Right.
Okay, the fourth question is, if I have working experience in the US, can I waive the language score?
Yes, absolutely. So also, and not just work experience, if you in regard to the language score, if you have a degree from a US institution, if you have worked in the US, or if you've worked in the UK, Australia, anywhere in Canada but Quebec, the language score, the language requirement can be waived. So absolutely, Ottawa is very reasonable in regard to that. And if you do have, if you are coming directly, maybe from a master's degree from your home country, Ottawa accepts the TOEFL and IELTS. It does not accept Duolingo or PTE or any of those others. But the great news is if you have lived, if you've worked and gotten a degree in the US, that TOEFL or IELTS is waived.
Okay, the fifth question is, can recommendation letter be waived?
No, we do not waive the letters of recommendation. Those are actually very important. And that's something to keep in mind in terms of the quality of the degree program. So when you're applying to Ottawa University, they are truly looking at your application. They're looking at you as a candidate holistically. And so your letters of recommendation are very important in that process. They want to make sure that you have found a right fit and that you are suitable. So the standards for admission are high, and that's something that you should consider to be a very positive aspect of the admissions process and the degree program. So 3 letters of recommendation signed, but they don't have to be from professors. They can be from colleagues or managers.
The sixth question is, what is the minimum GPA to apply for Ottawa?
So Ottawa University requires a minimum GPA of 3.0 for admission to the executive MBA program. Again, that's whether you've graduated from a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, you must have a minimum GPA of 3.0.
Okay, so the seventh question is, the classes are Zoom meeting or watching the video. Is there a requirement for class time?
Yeah, I can address this. So as you know, as an international student, you are required to meet a certain number of face-to-face hours to be in compliance with your F1 visa regulations. So it is required to attend the mandatory weekend sessions that are held every 2 months. The weekend sessions are 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's required to be there for the full weekend session. When you're not on campus, you'll participate in the class online and connect with your colleagues and professors through Blackboard, which is the university's learning management system.
Okay, the eighth question is, I work at Google. They don't sign the CPT agreement. Can I waive the CPT agreement?
Yes. So I wasn't sure if Carla was going to jump in there. So there are companies like Google, Amazon, and a few others who their policies do not allow them to sign an official CPT form from the university. In these cases, your manager or HR person can submit a letter on official letterhead that basically includes your name, your job title, your employment dates, the date that you started your employment. It will need to include information about who your supervisor is and their contact information. And it will also need some information about your job description and what you're doing at that company.
Okay, the ninth question is, how heavy workload is at a program at Ottawa? How many hours a week do I need to devote to my studies?
I think we addressed a similar question in the beginning. Again, the EMBA program is a full-time program. It is rigorous. It's a master's level program. But the overall number of hours that you devote to your studies could vary from class to class because each professor is a little bit different. I would anticipate I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 hours of work outside of class each week.
I think it's hard to put a number on hours because it so depends upon the individual, but and the individual student, but I do think it's so important to remember that this is an executive master of business administration. It's specifically designed for working professionals. And so just like, jumping off of what Justin said, we always, in all of our degree programs, we've had some professors who maybe give us a little heavier workload than others. So you would, want to look at it holistically, but it is specifically designed for people who are working professionals. And I think that's so important to remember. And that's the whole focus of the program, is to be able to get that really high quality degree, but also be able to pursue your career.
I see, of course. The 10th question is, do I have to attend the orientation in person?
Yeah, so the orientation is actually part of the weekend session, the 3-day weekend session, which is mandatory. So when you join the program, orientation will be held on Friday of the weekend session, and then you'll start your first class on Saturday morning and attend class Saturday and Sunday. And then once you leave campus, you'll participate in the class online.
Another thing, I keep jumping in, but I really do want to talk about that weekend session, because aside from the fact that it is ensuring that as an international student, you are in compliance with all US CIS and CVIS regulations, another aspect of that weekend session that students don't expect, but is an incredible benefit, is that you are on campus, first of all, with your professors. So you're establishing that relationship with your professors. They know you once they get to see you and are in class with you, but also your fellow classmates. And it's just amazing to see the energy that is at the weekend sessions when you are in the same company with other professionals like yourself. And there's just such a great sharing, and there's so much networking that is taking place among the students. And that is another aspect of the program that, is not even advertised, but that the students really appreciate and really benefit from.
Good. The 11th question is, can I use a CPT before the program starts date?
That's a great question. And we get this question often from students who maybe are transitioning from OPT to CPT at Ottawa University. In these cases where students are, currently on OPT and transitioning to CPT, for example, Ottawa University can authorize CPT up to 30 days before the program start date per USCIS regulations. In order to start CPT early, you must submit all of your documents as well as pay the semester tuition in full. But that will help students to avoid any gaps in their employment authorization, since CPT is a required part of the program. We don't want you to, have a gap in your employment and lose your employment while you're waiting for the EMBA program to start.
The 12th question is, the earliest CPT start date should be orientation day or the program start date?
Yeah, so that kind of piggybacks off the previous question. Again, CPT is generally authorized from day one of the program, which would be the orientation day. However, if needed, you can start CPT up to 30 days before the program start date.
Okay, the 13th question is, what will happen if my program gets started, but I can't find an employer in a couple of weeks to apply for the CPT?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. We have students all of the time who, maybe have recently lost their employment, or they're coming straight from another degree program that didn't have CPT. So they're still in the job search phase. That's totally fine. CPT is required, and students are, responsible for finding their own employment. However, you will have the first 60 days of the program to secure CPT employment.
Okay, and the 14th question is the course schedule same no matter students choose full-time CPT or part-time CPT?
Yes, it is. The EMBA program format is the same for all students. You'll do 6 semesters for 2 years, and you're required to attend the weekend sessions every 2 months. So the program is the same. As an international student on CPT, you can choose part-time or full-time CPT. It's up to you.
Okay, the 15th question is, if I don't apply for day 1 CPT, how frequently I need to attend class on campus?
So CPT is an integral part of the program, and it is required. So it's not an option to join the program and not do CPT. So you'll still need to attend the weekend sessions every 2 months. And like I said previously, you'll have the first 60 days of the program to secure CPT eligible employment.
Okay, the 16th question is, how often do students need to renew their CPT? And what's the process involved? I think this one is already answered previously. So let's get to the 17th. How long does it usually take for students to get their admission offer from the date they submit all the requirement of application material?
Sure, I'll give Justin a break and answer that question. So by the time, once a student submits a complete application, I will review that within 24 hours. And if that application is complete, then I will let the student know and I will submit it for final review. And they can expect to receive a decision within 5 to 7 days. Often they will receive that decision sooner, but definitely within 5 to 7 days. When they submit their application within that 24 hours, if they're missing any documents, I will let them know exactly what they need to email to me, and they'll hear from me quite often until we get a complete application packet. So the whole process is very streamlined and efficient, and they can get a decision quite quickly.
Thank you. So the 18th question is, what is the difference between MBA and EMBA? I believe these perspectives talk about like the course content or the requirement.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I would say probably the main difference between a traditional MBA program and the executive MBA program is that the EMBA program is truly designed for professionals. It's designed for people like you who are working in your careers, who are looking for opportunities to move into managerial positions or executive positions. And not only that, but the format of the program is an executive format, which means that you're not attending class on campus every day of the week like you would in a traditional MBA program. Instead, it's an executive format. So again, you're working on CPT, you're participating in the class online, and then attending those weekend sessions every 2 months. And as Carla mentioned previously, those weekend sessions give you a unique opportunity to network with your classmates who are also working professionals. So it's amazing on the weekend sessions to see the students really get together and network and help each other with job opportunities or talk to each other about situations at each of their companies and kind of help each other to find solutions to those issues that they're facing as managers or executives in their companies.
Okay, the 19th question is, I am in China right now, and could I start a CPT from the first semester after enter the US?
That's a good question. The student can start CPT from the first semester. However, once you enter the country, you will need to secure a social security number and social security card that will allow you to work in the US. So There is a little bit of a delay in that process, but as soon as your Social Security is approved, then you can begin looking for employment and begin your employment within 60 days of the program start date.
Okay, the 20 question, are there any scholarship opportunities?
So I think we addressed that in terms of scholarships, because we talked about the CPT format of the program. And also, I think too, it's important to look at the actual tuition. When you look at the tuition of the EMBA at Ottawa University, it is very reasonably priced in comparison to many other programs, and that is deliberate as well. So that's another consideration that we didn't mention before, but that CPT is far more economically advantageous than any scholarship that you would get at most universities.
Got it. The 21 question is it required to attend CPT course from the first semester?
It's required to start CPT within 60 days, which is a half of a semester. So within 60 days or a half a semester, you need to secure CPT eligible employment.
Got it. The 22nd is could I switch campus during the program?
That's a good question, and it's one that we get often because as you know, our international students live and work all over the country, and from time to time they relocate with their jobs or to be closer to friends or family in other parts of the country. So that's a question that we get often. Unfortunately, it's not possible to switch your campus location once you've started the program. And the reason for that is that the EMBA program is delivered in a cohort format in which students follow a predetermined course schedule. So not all of the same courses are delivered at each campus in the same order. And some of the concentrations in the EMBA program are only offered at specific campus locations. So once you're accepted to the program and start the program, you have to remain at that campus location for the duration of the 2-year program. However, keep in mind that you only have to travel to campus once every 2 months. So even if you do move to a different part of the country, it's easy to travel to the campus location still.
And each campus is incredibly conveniently located near a major airport. So if you end up moving, that's another benefit. And I will bring up again, having worked at in traditional programs where students were kind of stuck on campus, this is so advantageous because students have that opportunity to truly live anywhere in the US, and then they only have to be on campus for 3 days once every 2 months. So that is something that I can think of so many students in the past who would have loved to have had that opportunity.
That sounds great. The next question is a signed CPT agreement required?
So I think Justin covered that in terms of if you're working for one of those companies that are unable to sign the CPT agreement, there are alternatives to that with the offer letter and the job description, et cetera. So there are alternatives that are available.
Okay, the last question is why some employers are not willing to sign the CPT agreement with the university?
That's a very good question. I don't know if we have a specific answer, but some companies just have policies in place that they don't sign specific forms from universities. So as Carla and I mentioned previously, in these situations, there are alternatives, alternate solutions where the employer can simply submit a letter acknowledging that they understand that your employment is on CPT and that it is related to your degree program and your area of study.
Okay, thank you so much, Carla and Justin, for providing useful information about Ottawa University. If students have more questions about CPT or Ottawa University, please feel free to scan the QR code on the right side or go to Ottawa EDU. And thank you for attending today's info session.
So there is one last question. Hi, Celine. A student mentioned.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I saw that. Why no, this one is answered.
It looks like there's a question that came through on the chat.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just missed that. So hi, Justin. You just mentioned students have predetermined the course schedule. Does that mean students have no choice in course schedule?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yes, the program is taught in a cohort format in which students follow a predetermined course schedule. So in the executive MBA program, there are 5 different concentrations that you can choose from. All of those concentrations share half of the classes. So half of the courses that you'll take in the MBA program are core MBA courses, and every student, regardless of your concentration, takes those same courses. However, depending on your concentration, the other half of the courses that you will take in your program are specifically related to that concentration. So IT or cybersecurity or business data analytics or operational effectiveness or healthcare management. The other half of your courses will be concentration courses. There are no electives in the program, so you won't have the ability to switch your courses or choose different electives. However, your concentration courses will be unique to the concentration that you choose. And as I mentioned previously, you'll go through the program in the order that the program is delivered. So each semester you'll take 2 courses. One of those courses will be a core MBA course, and the other course will be a concentration course.
Thank you so much for answering the question, Justin. If students have any more questions, you feel welcome to go to the ottawa.edu or scan QR code to ask a consultant about Ottawa University. And thank you again for attending today's lecture. And thank you, Justin and Carla.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here and share some information about the EMBA program at Ottawa University. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we'll see many of you joining the EMBA program and participating in the weekend sessions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.